Recognition is a big part of pride. Between children, one kid, the father comes and says, I love you, I'm so proud of you. What's going on with the other kid? Hey son, why don't you wash my car? You do a good job. The other kid doesn't want to wash the car. He'd rather watch TV. But he's still upset that dad didn't ask me to wash the car because he doesn't think I'm qualified. Even if he did ask me, I would have said, no, Abba, I gotta play a game. But the fact that he didn't ask me, it bothers me. You understand? There's this desire for what? Recognition. And Iblis seems to want a lot of recognition from who? From Allah Azza wa Jal. He sees that even though responsibility has been had, it's not an award ceremony where he gets to be this free king and he gets to do whatever he wants. As a matter of fact, Allah will tell us about human life on this earth. لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي كَبَدٍ. We created the human being in toil, in labor. You know, he's going to be exhausted on this earth. It's an effort to survive on this earth, to provide for yourself and your family, to make a decent living, to get by, to survive the relationships that we have. It's not easy. And yet, it's the recognition that's been given them. He can't stand it. Why was he acknowledged? Why wasn't I acknowledged? Acknowledgement can drive a person to the point where they can become shaitan. And by the way, this is that same acknowledgement that leads one brother to kill the first murder in the history of humanity, Habil and Qabil in Surah Al-A'raf. The first murder happened not over money. It didn't happen over property. It didn't happen over, it was actually a تُقُبِّلَ مِنْ أَحَدِهِمَا وَلَمْ يُتَقَبَّلْ مِنَ الْآخَرِ. They both, offered a sacrifice. One was accepted, the other wasn't. One was acknowledged, the other wasn't. Same jealousy again. What drove the brothers of Yusuf alayhi salam insane to the point where they're willing to almost kill their brother? Throw him in the middle of a well, in the middle of the woods somewhere, out of nowhere. Who knows there's snakes in the well? Who knows there's not scorpions down in the well? It's a ditch in the middle of nowhere. They're willing to do that to their brother. Why? Because they're jealous of the recognition he gets from their dad. Now this idea of recognition, understand that when we think of pride, we think of money, status, power, these things. I tell you, those things pale in comparison when it comes to the human desire for recognition. What Shaytan will put inside you of wanting to be appreciated, wanting to be recognized, wanting to be acknowledged. You will have people that even in the name of Islam, that's the scariest part of it. Even in the name of Islam, there are people that are serving masajid. And working at a masjid is not a fun thing, man. It's like applying for the zoning and getting the parking lot redone and talking to the contractors and taking care of the wudu area and all this stuff. It's not a fun thing to do. But there are people who leave their jobs, spend extra hours away from their family to be boards of masajid and volunteers at masajid and have shura meeting after shura meeting about how we're going to spend the money, what initiatives are we going to start, what are we going to renovate, things like that, right? And even within that space, you have people that are wealthy background that they have this thing, I have to be the president of the masjid. I have to be dude, you're already the head of your department at work. You're the doctor that all the nurses are running behind and taking instructions from. You're the head of your household. You're the wealthiest person. You have all these things that put you on top. But there's one place where they're not recognizing me, man. They're not acknowledging what I've done for them. I'm not getting the attention I deserve. I need to be declared, supreme ruler of the masjid. Even in the masjid is a place, وَأَنَّ الْمَسَاجِدَ لِلَّهِ فَلَا تَدْعُوا مَعَ اللَّهِ أَحَدًا. I'm not picking on doctors, by the way, sorry. I just had, bad experiences in life, and I'm venting. But I'm saying it could be anybody. It could be anybody. It could be like somebody who doesn't even have a career. But when they come into the masjid, it becomes about recognition. It becomes about the voting and the elections and who are you going to vote for. And then this guy got up and the other guy, and there's like all this it's like Republican versus Democrat situation inside the masjid. Why? Over what? What are you winning? What are you winning? But this idea that people will recognize my contribution somewhere in the back of this head, that is actually istikbar, wanting greatness, wanting to be considered great, wanting that people will think of you as great, putting that on your badge, even though it gives you no physical benefit. There's no material benefit or gain that comes from it. But it's a disease that can hit people in the material realm. You'll find this pride thing. It affects every circle of humanity, every engagement of humanity. The pride affects families, inside of a family. There could be like a husband who constantly wants to be recognized and praised for what he does. and he gets angry all the time. You people don't even appreciate what I do for you. When was the last time you even thanked me for what I've done? And he's just constantly, he's on this high of him. He's like Fir'aun inside a 1-bedroom apartment. You know? He needs to be declared, Ana Rabbukumul A'la, in that little world of his. There could be you're in a department, there's like 5-6 people that work together. There are guys that have like jobs you wouldn't even do unless you're desperate. There are guys that work in the sanitation department, and one guy drives the truck, one guy hangs in the back and picks up the trash cans or whatever, right? And the guy that's driving the truck is like, yeah, I'm the driver. Like, in that little world, he's Fir'aun. He's got istikbar. I got recognized, you know? These are the kinds of things, this like ego contest happens inside the office, inside your department, within your teams, between teams. Then it extends even, you know, so it happens in the world of business, it happens inside of families, of course it happens between siblings. There's sibling rivalry. And as a matter of fact, that's one of the most dangerous kinds of ego rivalry there is. That is why after the first fall, the major sin of Adam alayhi salam in Jannah, which was the eating of the tree, after that, the next sin that is recorded in human history is the rivalry between siblings. That's the next sin of humanity. That's the first murder in the history of humanity. And that all of it results in jealousy. Somebody thinks of, oh, dad, he gives him all the attention. Oh, he thinks he's better than me. Or just because he's taller. Just because he went to that school. Just because he got better grades. And we don't help as parents. We take the kid who got 100 on the test and we slap that 100 across the face of every other kid. You see, he got 100? You see? You see? This is why I like him more. This is why. You know? He's better looking and he's smarter. What have you done? And this short middle brother or sister, they're just constantly, just the thought of their sibling burns them. You know, it just burns them. And then you wonder why they fight so viciously. Why would you just take your brother's toy and break it? Not even play with it. Just break it and then watch him squirm. Why would you do that? And the parents come and yell. Why are you breaking his toy? You're always doing these things. Yeah, that's exactly why. Because you love him so much more, right? You love him. You love this toy more than you love me. And then, from childhood. This is istikbar. This is something Shaytan instills inside humanity. This is what destroyed him. So he wants to make sure we have it.